Hey, hi, this is Antonino Secchi. I'm an orthodontist from Devon, Pennsylvania, and I'm here hosting another episode of the GC Orthodontics Exchange. And today I have the pleasure to have Dr. Ed Davis from Columbia, South Carolina, who's going to be talking with us about his experience as an orthodontist and many other things. So, Ed, thank you for coming.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. So I would like to start asking you about your background, how you became an orthodontist, where did you go to school, and basically what do you practice, basically just a background.
Yeah, so it's kind of generic, but it's not. So, I mean, granted, I got interested in orthodontics from just my own treatment that I had whenever I was in middle school. I was always trying to figure out what he was doing, and kind of looked at it like a Rubik's Cube that you're trying to solve. Okay, so the teeth are just put wherever, let's figure it out. But what really kind of propelled me into dentistry, so I played like piano since kindergarten. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So my dentist growing up was our church organist, and then his wife taught organ. So to kind of continue that on, I started taking from her, but also got to know him very well, which also spurred on my interest in dentistry. And then, so once I kind of played my path to get into dental school, kind of went back to my whole Rubik's Cube mentality, and decided to pursue orthodontics. Dental school was in Charleston, South Carolina at Medical University. Loved that place. It was great. And then went to St. Louis University for orthodontics, and just really had a great time. Fell in love with the city, the school, my fellow residents. I just thought that they really did a great job of preparing me to be able to look at whatever situation was put before me and come up with a couple of ideas of what to do so that we could always be successful.
That's nice. And now you decided to go back to your hometown, no? I mean,
correct.
To practice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Did you start from scratch, or did you, how was that transition from resident to practicing?
So I'll be blunt, it wasn't easy, but I kind of did both worlds. So when I was graduating, I was trying to find other doctors to associate with or eventually take over, and some things, the conversations never went anywhere, or we started and then they fell apart. And so ended up being a orthodontist that was probably about 45 minutes south of Columbia. So I got out in December of 2020. I'm sorry, 2000. And he was going to retire the summer of 2001. So $90,000 to buy his practice. He was just ready to get out. I mean, the equipment was worth more than that, but it was in an area that I really didn't want to be in, but I knew that it would fuel the capital to run the business back in Columbia where I wanted to be. So basically, I started in the office that I bought February of 2001, and then in May, I opened up from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Another office.
So you were working on both at the same time?
We were working on both at the same time, and so eventually that flipped. The hard thing for me was with South Carolina at that time, you had to do a specialty boards from the state. They only offered it one time a year, and so you had to.
I mean, for
orthodontics, yes,
like beside all.
Correct. It wasn't much of an exam, but it was just so you could get the license within the state. So I graduated in December, started working in February, but they didn't offer the exam until June. So then you couldn't advertise as an orthodontist until, because at that time we had Yellow Pages. And so the Yellow Pages advertisement was coming out in April. And so because of state laws, you couldn't advertise as an orthodontist until you got clear that you passed.
Did you pass? Yeah.
So there was a whole year where I was a general dentist doing orthodontics.
Even you have the certificate. I mean,
correct.
Yes. Do they still have that kind of?
No, they actually got rid of it probably about 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I guess they kind of, it's good or bad. I mean, it kind of the same. But most of the other states are kind of getting away with specialty license like that because they figured if you pass your national boards,
you're gonna be okay. That's good. I didn't know that actually. So you've been since that time in your practice.
Celebrated 25 years.
Wow.
A couple of months ago.
Yeah, great. And so over the years, I know that you're involved with dental monitoring as a technology. Have you also seen a lot of changes in how you practice based on the technology compared to when you started to now?
Oh, yes. So when I first started, my whole practice management system was Microsoft Office Suite. I mean, it was Outlook and Word. Just to finally get involved, and we went through basically 3 different practice management software systems. We currently use Dolphin now, but just to see really throughout my lifetime the transitions from kind of the birth of all of that to kind of where we are now, and now we have artificial intelligence integrated in all the softwares that we're using, especially with dental monitoring, that helps me see more than what I could ever see, before.
Now, for how long you been doing dental monitoring in your office?
This about 3.5 years now.
Yeah, and so how you integrate that? Is just for the liners or braces or everything?
So we use it for every patient. So braces, aligners, habit appliances, and basically what we're calling in dental monitoring end-to-end monitoring. So we're going from observation into regular treatment or phase treatment and also into retention. So we're trying to use that as to aspects for the whole time, so that we can kind of see what's going on with the patient and making sure that their path and their journey and their orthodontic treatment is successful.
So that is saving you time in the office.
Oh, it's saving much. Before we were doing that, we were probably seeing 75 to 80 patients a day. I've got medium, large practice. It's not huge, and I'm a single doctor. But once we instituted dental monitoring and what we call dynamic scheduling, which is basically where you bring back a patient when they need to come back. So we're not just automatically scheduling 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Sometimes it may be 12, sometimes it may be 10, sometimes it may be 4. But we've gone from about that 75 to 80 to probably about 55 to 60 patients a day.
Yeah.
So that amount of time, one, allows you to add more production, same day starts, gives me the freedom to go do digital treatment planning, whether it's with our move aligners.
Maybe less stress.
Correct. It could be just me having a cup of coffee searching Instagram, but that there has helped reduce my stress level from what I need from just a daily, lifestyle.
Nice. Any other technology that you use in your office in the last few years that have changed?
Well, we use, we have a CBCT, and thankfully those prices have all come down. But it's really with, digital radiography, AI technology with monitoring, and then really all the setups that we do for our aligners, braces,
intraoral scanners, and
correct.
Do you do any printing on your office?
We run that 3D printer like crazy. So basically, once I guess COVID got through, and we started doing some in-house. Try to do some in-house aligners, but we got into the 3D printing, the scanning, and it's kind of one of those things that you realize, like, why didn't I have this before? Because it saves a lot of time. There's still a lot more information, and then the results you get from that, whether it's aligners or what you need to use it for your digital treatment plans. It's so valuable and it's so accurate.
Do you do the retainers too, through the printing? So you print and the Essex?
Yes, we do. Yes, we make our own house. We did, like I said, one time try to do in-house aligner systems, but we found that it was probably really just more cost effective to do it through a company like GC with our move and do our treatments with that than it was to go and print them, because we all know patients are patients. Sometimes they wear them, sometimes they don't. And then your staff actually gets upset when they go and make 20 trays and then they only get to 10. And they're like, why did I make all these?
I know. Start again.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Wow, that's good. And also, I know that you're very involved with the AAO and the AAO PAC.
Correct.
So how you got into that leadership, and what can you tell us about what you guys are doing in that kind of area of our specialty?
Well, again, everything starts from a pebble and then grows into a boulder. So I got in on our state level by just doing getting into the pathway for president. And once you get that, then you get onto a regional team where you're kind of going and being represented from your state. You get more involved. You start meeting people, networking, and you realize that everybody in the doctors that you meet on the state, the regional, and the national level, they're really just like you, and they all are there to try to make a difference.
Yeah.
And so you were trying to find out how you can do that, and I got asked to be a part of so in the southern region, we have what we call state captains, and these are people that are help raise money for our AAO PAC, and the AAO PAC raises money. That money goes to feed or give money to congressional candidates or people in the House and the Senate, so that they know that we are supporting them from the AAO, but then they in turn will help support us with our political priorities that we are trying to set up. And that may be something like trying to reduce mail order, medical devices, or we are trying to look at helping reduce student debt load, because right now the average orthodontist comes out with $570,000 in debt.
I mean,
and it's ridiculous.
Unreal.
And since the changes from the Affordable Care Act, where they have now taken away interest deferred loans, so these students are coming out with so much. I mean, they're already coming out with $100,000 in interest that's accumulated from the start of dental school. And so we're trying to push policies and trying to get congressional people to understand that maybe we are a different beast in orthodontics. We're not like medical residents because they're getting paid.
Yeah.
But us people who are going to law school, they're having to pay for their residencies, and so can we do things to help reduce this debt burden? Because when you get out, you already have this amount. Banks aren't wanting to lend you money. If you want to go practice in your hometown or go to an area that's underserved, you can't afford to do it. Yeah. So how can we, as the AAO and organization, try to help these residents and understand that we have their back to help them to have a life?
That would be pretty much the most important policy that you guys are pushing right now at that level?
I would say so. The other thing we're trying to do is to work on regulations so that for patients who are wanting to initiate dental treatment, that they have to have an in-person exam along with a radiograph. So
nice, yeah.
Because we all know a lot of the direct-to-consumer products, they're just being treated. There's no oversight to what's going on. They may have periodontal disease. We may be moving teeth into the wrong area. So with these policies, but we're trying to get that changed. But we're working on a state level now. So we've got, I think, in probably 17 states, laws already passed where you must have an in-person exam and a radiograph.
I think it's been very successful so far.
It has been. And even right now in South Carolina, we're past the Senate and we're trying to get it through the House. But we're getting close to sessions being done. So we're trying to see what we can do to help push that. But once we get it kind of established in the state level, we're now trying to introduce next year, because you have a change of Congress, but introduce next year federal regulations that's going to help push this same ideal across the nation.
Wow, that's great. I mean, that's really a lot of work, but needed.
It is a lot of work, and it's a lot of work that our AAO staff does for us. We're here campaigning for them and trying to champion them to kind of get this done. And a lot of AAO members understand that, but a lot of them don't. They don't think that
they don't
AAO
even know that you guys
is doing that. And that's one of the messages that we're trying to get across from Advocacy, because Advocacy is like the number one priority for the AAO, is that we are there supporting you and doing everything we can to make you and your business successful, but also make sure that your patients are being protected.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for doing that. Yeah,
well, I appreciate it.
So you do so much stuff. I mean, what about at the personal level? I mean, how you balance that with your personal life? I
drink a lot of bourbon. That's how I balance it.
Jack Daniels?
Woodford.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, you have to do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so, but you do a lot of, you do anything outside kind of orthodontics, anything like a hobby, like a sport or with your family or anything?
So we do like to travel, but all the kids are into everything. my daughter is in musical theater. She graduates this week from Temple University. And one of the things that I enjoy doing, and it's kind of started back when I was in high school, but then it kind of stopped. But once she got into doing a lot of plays, I started doing the summer plays with her. So I probably have been doing a summer show for about 10 years now.
Wow.
So right now, we are currently rehearsing for the SpongeBob musical, so I'm Mr. Krabs.
Oh,
so
well, that's your musical talent, you know.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So my singing voice sounds a whole lot better than my scratchy voice after a whole night at Universal. But so I do that. I got really into once. I think as a lot of people during COVID, we got into a fitness journey.
Yeah.
So I have I try to keep up with that every week.
Which is not easy. Yeah.
It is not easy, and I'm always tired and sore. So, but I think that just goes to the fact of being middle aged.
Yeah. No, I mean, we need to keep pumping. Yeah.
Right. Well, we got to stay young.
That's awesome. So so do you see in your office more braces and wires or aligners? Or you do a combination of that? I mean,
it's kind of an interesting question. We generally do about a third to about 25 to 30% aligners to braces.
Yep.
Which I think is kind of very similar to most practices. But
you're right.
So when COVID, we saw a huge increase of aligners because adults are looking at their teeth on a short screen.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't like my lower teeth, so let's get that fixed. And I'm wearing a mask, so nobody will see it.
Yeah, they have some money.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we got all these loans coming in, these payments coming in. But I've really kind of seen recently a shift in my area, people going more towards brackets and braces again.
Yeah.
Because I think in the grand scheme, people understand that they are not responsible to do a lot of the work that they need.
Yeah.
And I'm I try to counsel people before we get involved into treatments, because I want successful treatments. So I really tried to find out their personality before we get started, because aligner treatment, while it's great, and I think it's still, and there are certain things that I could do with aligners and I cannot do with braces. But I have to make sure that patient is the right person for it.
He's the right person for it, yeah.
Because I tell them, this is a lifestyle change. I've done it all. I've done braces, I've done metal, I've done clear, I've done aligners, I've done, all kind of stuff in my mouth so I can try it out. But
also, you had yourself.
Yes, all myself.
Okay.
And my staff as well. And so
you know the feeling of wearing aligners very well.
Correct.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't like it. I mean, because I am all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I can't find my keys. I can't find my wallet. I'm constantly trying to find where my phone is. So I am not the person to wear aligners, because I will leave it somewhere and not know where it is.
Yeah.
But there are people out there who are super conscientious, and I've got great patients who take care of it and keep them clean, and they're constantly changing and doing what they need to do. And I got some that are terrible.
Yeah.
And some that we've had to transition into braces. And a lot of times I'll have people come to me and say, this was the best thing I've ever done, or I wish I'd have done braces. So I get both sides of it.
Yeah. It's just how you read the patient.
Correct.
As best as you can to see if that treatment is the right for that person.
And that's exactly the clue.
Yeah.
And that's why I pride myself on having multiple options that people can do, whether or not it's this or this type of brace or this other type of bracket. Because I think as an office, when we pigeonhole ourselves to just doing one type, then you exclude people that...
Absolutely. You close too many doors. Yeah,
well, I do. And I think that you need to be up to date on kind of what's out there. Doesn't mean like you have to do like the super crazy MARPE that's you're going to have. Like I saw one that was using 8 TADs for it. And I mean, you don't have to do that.
Yeah,
but there are other alternatives that you can do all for patients that I think that they need to be aware of, that we need to be aware of to know that that's out there.
Absolutely. Talking about, since you mentioned the residents, all the debt that they have right now, any advice for the new graduates on or hope for the future that they're still in a great specialty and profession? Any advice for them? How to handle the first few years? Because that many of them, the only option that they have right now is to go to some DSOs, which is completely fine. And so what do you think about that, and what would you tell them?
So the one thing I've always told exiting residence for the past 25 years is what this will save you in life. Do not spend more than you make.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, that will take you through the rest of your life. But what it is not an easy time.
Yeah.
It is not an easy time because it is hard to go buy a practice.
Yeah.
Because the selling doctor generally wants more than what it's worth, and the resident wants to pay less than what it is worth.
Yeah.
And so it's that it's like my buddy the other day said that when both parties end pissed, that means you have a good deal.
Yeah.
Because you compromised.
Yep.
But with the way that this is going, and the DSOs and OSOs are fine. I think that we are coming down a bell curve with this as far as success of them. I think even yesterday we were talking about. I was talking with Trey Lawrence, who's CEO of the AAO, and he's working with the DSOs to try to keep them in the organization, because there's a lot of they're wanting to kind of do their own thing.
Yeah.
They want to provide their own CE and kind of, in my mind, whether or not this is true or not, this is how I see it and the perception that I have. But they are, pushing them to use products that they want to do that maybe they have a buying group with, but are their philosophy of kind of treatment.
Yeah.
As a whole. And so the AAO right now is trying to work with them to try to bring them back into the fold and say, hey, look, we want to do this for you, but we also need this in return, and we want your support. But I guess my thing with residents coming out and dealing with this is you got to do what you got to do first.
Yeah.
You have to live. So if it is...
And pay the bills.
Correct. So if you're going to get banked by going to... a DSO, and you have to put your time in, well, live frugal, live smartly, enjoy life, but live smartly, and then take your earnings and your savings, and then go do what you want and make your life your own. Because I think that, advice. Well, I just think that we can all suck it up for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all do that, whether it's being a parent or doing stuff with work or teams or whatever, but we know there's another outcome when we get done.
Yeah, so you have to have the vision, but at some point just put the effort on it. I mean, thinking about that's what I want to be, and then work toward. Yeah.
Well, and I will also be blunt with this. I hear so many times the doctor discussing about an associate doctor that they're coming out and they hear about how great the profession is, but they're not wanting to put in the work. And that's the whole thing, is that you got to put in the work. Yeah. And if you want to be an owner, if you want to be a partner in whatever you're doing, you can't just coast in. And I think a lot of times, even with kind of going into a DSO, you're in as an employee.
Yeah.
And you come out, when you leave, you come out still as kind of an employee mentality, but you need to be an owner. And so you're just thinking, well, I was able to take off this time to do whatever I needed to, or I need to go do this. But I hear so many doctors saying that they don't play in the sandbox very well when they are trying to get into more of the private practices. Yeah. And I think that you need to have that smarts to be successful. You have to play in the sandbox very well. Yeah,
that's a great advice. So Ed, just talking about how you practice in your office, in the bracket size, what type of brackets or wires do you use, and anything about that you can give us your experience?
So the one I use the most is my GC Mini Twins, and I've been and I love my rep. I've been with him for 25 years through all of his progression, and he's ended up here, and I've always followed him. And they just work very well for me. And generally for my twin sequence is just 14 to a 16.
You have an O22 slot?
O22, yes.
O22 slot, Mini Twins,
1725, 9 tied to 1925, and then if we need to do a steel or a TMA. I'm starting getting into I've been doing some self-ligating for
Okay.
a while. Use that mainly for some crowded cases or what I call the stainless steel look.
Yeah, yeah.
So that it depends on especially adults who don't really want to deal with all the colors and all that kind of stuff. I'll just go ahead and recommend that because I still feel that stainless or self-ligating brackets is a more gentler way to treat.
Yeah.
And I also think it's probably more efficient.
Yeah, for adult and that they wanna do braces. You typically do the clear ones or the metal ones.
I don't mind clear. If it was
Yeah.
me, I would have clear on. My assistants hate dealing with clear.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with it. Like I could still bond them and put them on, but they don't like dealing with it.
So they just do the
So
metal,
they will secretly push the patient when they're doing their records. They go like, you really want to do just metal? It's easier. They're like, when you want to have curry in that bottle of wine,
Hey, listen, coming
you
from
want
the
to go ahead
staff,
and
you know how that is. I mean, you turn around and the patient asks the staff, so what would you do? And
Exactly.
And this is what they do.
So so at one point my clear has kind of decreased a lot, but I used to do a good bit of it. But still the mini twins are that's the dominant one that we use.
Okay, good. And you use the wires and the 014. Those are the initial oil wires.
Generally 014. Every once in a while, we'll go down to an 012.
Okay.
Just if we have super crowding.
Okay.
But even with that, it only has so much it can do.
Yeah.
You take it out and it looks like somebody just ran over it with the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of standard wire sequences.
Okay, good.
And a lot of times, when we get to the 1925s, if it looks good, I'll just be fine.
Yeah.
The one thing I have learned is that when patients are happy,
Yeah.
and you're satisfied with the treatment,
It's time to
get out.
Absolutely.
Because you can nickel and dime and keep pushing and pushing until now you've made that patient mad.
Yeah, we go back again to the same thing. Know how to read the patient. Sometimes
Correct.
you just can't get more. I mean,
Correct,
it is what it is. It's time to get this done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's been a great conversation. I mean, it kind of flew. And I think that we touched so many different areas. So I mean, thank you so much for being with us. I think it was a great conversation, and good luck in your private life, in your office, and also in everything that you're doing for the AAO and the AAO PAC. I think that what you guys are doing is great, and I wish more orthodontists will know about it, and will know the support that we have from our association and support it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.